Hey everybody, and thank you so much for coming to our workshop today. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about AI for students, the ethics, the integrity, and effective use. This is essentially a comprehensive guide to navigating AI responsibly so that you can use it in your courses, so that you're not cheating, but you are using it as a partner instead of a crutch. So what we're going to talk about today is using AI in education, what tools are available and how they work in academic context. Then we're going to talk about the ethical principles. What are the core values that should guide you when you're using AI in your classes? The academic integrity, where you balance your use of AI as assistance with your honest work. And then practical strategies, what are the effective ways of integrating AI into your learning, and real world applications. So what are some success stories and lessons that were learned? So AI landscape in education. It has transformed how students have learned, researched, and completed their assignments. Things like ChatGPT, Claude, those are all tools that are AI. Like if you've ever used Grammarly or Citation Managers, those are all considered AI. AI is an integral part of our academic environment. We use it every single day. We even have it in Blackboard, right? So we have different ways that you can incorporate Blackboard on the instructor side that you're getting. These tools can help summarize complex text. They can help you generate ideas. They can check for grammatical errors. They can help you solve problems. Even a calculator was considered AI, right? And they can even create like a visual content. But with that, there needs to come a sense of responsibility. So understanding how AI, or in what ways AI can be used and what ways it cannot be used, is the first step towards using it ethically. AI excels at different things like processing information, identifying patterns, generating context-based on existing information, but it cannot replace your own thinking, your critical thinking, right? It cannot replace original analysis and deep learning that comes from struggling with challenging material. So AI is really good in that vein, in one vein, but it lacks when it comes to your individual experiences that you're bringing forth in your courses. So, core ethical principles for AI use. The first one is transparency. Anytime you use AI, especially when it comes to if you're writing a paper, if it helps you generate an idea, even if you're using it to study, you want to always disclose when you've used AI tools to complete a different assignment. You want to follow your instructor's guidelines. Every instructor should have in their syllabus what they consider appropriate versus inappropriate use for AI in their class. You might have some instructors who do not want you to use AI at all, right? And then you have some where they create their assignments so that, because they know that you're going to use it regardless, so they're going to create their assignment so that you can use it as a partner instead of as its main, where you're getting your main source of information. The next one is accountability. You want to take full responsibility for any content you submit, even if AI helped you create it. You should understand and be able to explain everything in your work. If you used it, you need to be able to explain it. So one way that I like to think about it is whenever I had an assignment, so back in the day, it was more when I used AI, I used it to kind of help me do guidelines, right? Because I didn't really know where to start off with my paper, so I used it for an outline. If you put in a topic in an AI engine and it spits out this amazing piece of work, but you don't even actually understand what it says, let's say your instructor comes back to you and asks, hey, this was really good. I want to know your thoughts on it more. You didn't even understand it. You don't know what he's talking about. You don't know what is going on. So you're really robbing yourself from that learning experience by leaning onto AI. The next thing is fairness. So consider how your AI use affects others. Let's just say that nobody else in your class is using AI except you. And AI has helped you gain almost a leg up in this in your course, right? So as a instructional designer, when I met with a faculty member, this faculty member read all of these papers and were like, oh my gosh, these are amazing. These are amazing. This is the first time that I've had this many students do so well. And then she read one person's paper where it was like, this isn't very good. Like, I mean, it's good, but it's not as good as the others. Turns out every last one of those students that had amazing papers all wrote it with AI. The one student who didn't wrote it themselves. So can you see how whenever you use AI and you use it heavily without having transparency and not letting anyone know what exactly it was that you used to write, what parts of it were used for AI and what parts weren't, you have students who will just claim all of that work as their own, and it looks as if it's absolutely amazing, but then you have the student who actually did it themselves and theirs is not considered as good, right? Like, so you want to have a little bit of fairness when it comes to using AI, because you don't want to have an unfair advantage over your classmates who did actually complete their work independently, and that undermines the academic fairness. And then learning first. Use of AI as a tool to embrace learning, not replace it. The goal is to develop your skills and knowledge and not just complete assignments effectively. I know we all have very busy lives. I was a student here too. I know and I understand that. And there are a lot of times where you have all of your classes hit at one time, you didn't manage your time properly. And so now all of your papers are due at one time and you're like, I just need to take the shortcut to get these things in. But really you're cheating yourself instead of actually taking it. Instructors are more willing, most instructors are more willing for you to say, hey, I don't have enough time. Can I please submit this late for no points, than for you to use AI, get caught cheating, and then you have 0 points for that assignment, right? Like, so you are really cheating yourself. You are better than AI. AI is just kind of taking things from a bunch of different databases versus you, whenever you have your own original thoughts and your own original ideas, you can't replace you, right? So, even though AI has a lot of advantages, you really want to make sure that your individual experience is showing out through all of your courses. All right. Understanding academic integrity. What that means. Academic integrity is the commitment to honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility in your educational work. It means representing your own ideas, properly citing sources, and engaging authentically with course materials. We all know our academic integrity for USC-Aiken because we all have to write it at the bottom of our papers. So why does that matter? Well, firstly, it builds real skills and knowledge you'll need in your career. You want to be able to go forth whatever job that you're planning on going to and saying, I understand this concept, I understand this idea because of X, Y, and Z, because of the courses that I went through, because of the studying that I did. If you used AI for everything, you don't actually know the content. You know how to plug it into a search engine, you know how to spit something out that someone else wrote, right? It maintains the value and credibility of your degree. If you used AI for the entire time of your academic career, and you receive your diploma, and your diploma basically says that this student graduated from this institution with this degree, they know all of the things that they're supposed to know, the foundational skills, everything, the core skills that they need to know in order to go into a job. You get into that job and they ask you a basic question and you have zero clue. You know what I mean? So the money that you've put in, the time that you've put into the university, it all gets undermined because you leaned heavily on AI use. It develops character and professional ethics. Whenever you have academic integrity and you are using AI in an academic way that is not cheating, and you use it for transparency, you are showing what your character is, right? Like, you are showing you're someone who doesn't take shortcuts, who uses their critical thinking skills, things like that. It creates fair learning environment for all students, which we spoke about before, and it prepares you for the workplace expectations of honesty. No one wants to work with someone who all they did was just search it up and spit it back out at you. Whenever you have some people who are in the same working environment as you, you hope to lean on their expertise. If you wanted to know what Google said, you would have looked it up yourself, right? So you want to be able to lean on each other's expertise in the workplace and have that honesty. So some red flags for unethical AI use. So when you submit AI generated work as your own, if you just copy and pasted from ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever, and you're saying it is your own, that is you plagiarizing, essentially is what it is. That's what it is, plain and simple. That violates academic integrity policies on every level in every institution. So as soon as you submit something, it doesn't matter if it was one word or one sentence or something or an entire paragraph, you want to make sure you have transparency. Say where you got that information from because you did not receive it yourself. Using AI without proper disclosure. And each of your instructors are going to tell you in their syllabus, or at the very least they should let you know or inform you in some way, shape, or form in their syllabus of what they expect from you in terms of disclosure. If you used AI for your outline, just say that you used it for your outline. You came up with the idea, but you used it so that it can kind of help you. If you needed it to help you look through your paper, right? Like if you wrote a rough draft and you know your rough draft isn't due until the middle of the semester, you're trying to get this done, and you submitted it into some AI platform, and it spits back out suggestions for you to edit. It doesn't write the paper for you, but it says, hey, you really need to work on punctuation, you need to work on grammar. I don't really think your topic is aligned with the rest of your paragraphs, things like that. Just say that's what you did, right? Put that at the bottom in the bottom of the page whenever you're typing out. I used AI for my rough draft. It gave me corrections. This is what it corrected me on. Bypassing your learning objectives. Every single course has learning objectives. If you use AI, you are not learning from that course. You're not taking what you need from that class. So it's really just cheating yourself, right? So when you use AI to complete problem sets without understanding the underlying concepts, you're cheating yourself out of the learning and the assignment as it was designed to provide, right? Like we've all had it where like you say, oh, like I just don't understand this problem. Don't give me the answer, but here is where I got so far. Put that in that AI engine, and it'll spit you out like when you're almost there. Just re-look at this second line one more time, you know. And then creating fake citations and sources. Sometimes AI generates very convincing but completely fictitious citations. AI will hallucinate, okay, because it's being pulled, especially for an open type system like ChatGPT. We all have seen fake news whenever you if you open up Facebook or Instagram and it has like some random news outlet, it knows that you've been searching one particular topic over and over again, and then all of a sudden it pops out with this thing. You're like, oh my gosh, is that true? I can't tell you how many celebrities have died on my platform where I had to go look and be like, oh my gosh, is that really true? And it's not. They're like, hey guys, that was fake. I don't know who created that. I don't know why that was there. So AI, especially like open forms like ChatGPT, they are going to pull information from everywhere, okay, in order to answer your problem or to answer your question. If it knows it's on the right track, it's going to create a citation for you. Oh, it definitely will. Now, is that an actual article from somewhere? Probably not, you know. So you want to use these. And if you end up using these, always verify your sources. Like anything else, if you look something up, if you look something up at the library or something, you want to verify that it's true. How many times have we all had to do a peer-reviewed article, right? Like at the library. For me in my classes when I was here, we had an entire library day where we had to be like, okay, so you found these peer-reviewed articles, make sure that it actually is something that pertains to your topic. Make sure it's coming from a reliable source. You want to do the exact same thing with AI. Anything that comes out and spits out at you, if you think this article is amazing, go ahead and ask for the citation for it, and then back search it and see if it's actually something that's real. So the green light of ethical AI applications. As a brainstorming partner, use AI to generate ideas, explore different angles on a topic, or overcome writer's block. For me, there was one time where I was trying to figure out how I wanted to say something, or like I wanted to create a paper and I just couldn't really understand where I wanted to go with it, right? And so I was like, well, let me just try to let me look it on ChatGPT. And I put it in and I said, this is my idea. I don't really know where I want to go from here. Can you just tell me different, like where are the different avenues that I can go from here? And it spit out a lot of things, and it like had like 2 things on there that I was like, oh, I actually really like this, or I really like this, you know? So those things can help you, and then you develop from those ideas with your own critical thinking and your research. It can be a research assistant. Ask AI to explain complex concepts, to summarize lengthy articles, to suggest relevant search terms. Always verify the information and consult those primary sources. But I know that Meredith, what she likes to do, she's in grad school right now. And so what she does is she does not have time to know whether or not all of these articles are going to pertain to her dissertation. So what she does is she'll put them in the generated maybe ChatGPT or something, and she's like, this is what my dissertation is on. Which one of these articles actually will fit well in my dissertation? And she'll put a bunch of them and be like, okay, well, these 4 are gonna match your topic very well. The rest of these you can do with or without them. And she's like, great, these are the 4 I'm gonna use, or these are the 4 I'm gonna look at, and she goes and reads those articles. So you've already filtered out a bunch of fluff that you didn't need with AI, but you're not cheating. It's not telling you, this is the article you need to use, let me write the paragraph for you. You see what I'm saying? Use it as a writing coach. It can give feedback on your structure, clarity, and grammar. You can use AI suggestions to improve your writing style while maintaining your authentic voice and ideas. If you've ever gone for USC Aiken, if you've ever gone to the writing room, AI can essentially do the exact same things, right? Like, so if you've gone to the writing room, what are some of the common questions you've asked the writing room people? Are all of my sentences like run-ons? Is my punctuation right? Is the grammar right? You know what I mean? Like, so those kind of things that you've asked the people in the writing room here at USC Aiken, do the same thing with AI. Now, do not say, hey, find them and then fix them, but be like, hey, what are some of the common mistakes that I'm making writing my paper? And it'll be like, hey, you have a lot of run-on sentences, or you have used the incorrect form of the entire way through this paper. I really need you to fix that, you know? So, and then a study tool, create practice problems, quiz yourself on material, or generate flashcards. AI can be an excellent tutor when used to reinforce learning. When I first graduated and I started doing job searching, right? Like, so we're all gonna have to go through it at some point or another in our life. Once you graduate the university, or maybe you are doing internships and you have to do interviews. One of the things that I did was I would put the job posting in the search or in the ChatGPT, or I'll just take a file and put it all in there. And then I would say, generate potential interview questions. And what it would do is it would take everything that is in that job posting, and especially what are they looking for? What is the job details? What is it that they are expecting their people to already come in, what knowledge they're expecting people to come in with, and what is the expertise that they're bringing as well. And then it generated like 50 questions of just like a whole bunch of different questions and it broke it down from introduction to expertise to expectations, what do you know about the company, different things like that. And so I used that. So anytime I went into an interview, even though I don't know what questions they're going to ask, I was at least equipped enough to be able to answer anything that they threw at me in some way, shape, or form. So you can do the same exact thing with your classes, right? So whenever you have a class, if you know that you're going to have chapter readings a quiz or an exam for these chapters, go ahead and put what materials you already have formulated together, put that in chat and be like, hey, this is the class, these are the materials, I really want to prepare for this test. Can you please create a mock exam for me? And then it'll pop out with a bunch of questions based off of the information you fed it, right? And then it can be used as an accessibility aid. For students with disabilities, AI can help level the playing field by providing text-to-speech, translations, or organizational support that makes learning more accessible. And we always want accessibility, right? All right, so AI framework for responsible AI use. So assess the purpose first. Confirm AI aligns with your learning goals. And then you want to check your policies. Check what your instructor says. Check on your syllabus. Your instructor will tell you how much AI use is considered too much in their class and what, where is the line that needs to be drawn. If you are too afraid to ask the question about AI, if you know that whatever you're doing, if you're afraid to ask about it, then you probably shouldn't be doing it, right? Like if I'm just saying like, hey, I use AI to do my outline. Okay, I'm not embarrassed for that, right? But if I be like, hey, AI wrote the entire 4-page paper that that's gonna cause you to have a little bit more reservation. And then use transparency. Always disclose AI use to your instructor or your peers. And it doesn't matter what the assignment is, even if you have to write it in the feedback in your Blackboard, just throw it in there just in case. Your instructor might not even look at it, but you know that without a doubt, you put that information in there and that you let them know this is what I use AI for. And then verify and understand. Always verify the output and the learning and learn the underlying reasons. So if whenever you used AI, take the time to learn about like, okay, well, why did it pull this? So that you're still learning as you're going. So this is an effective strategy. Number one, the collaboration method. Think of AI as a knowledgeable peer, not an all-knowing oracle. Start by attempting the assignment yourself, right? Outline your essay, solve the first few problems, or draft initial ideas, then bring specific questions to the AI. Instead of asking, write my essay about climate change, you can do something like what are some counter arguments to carbon taxation that I should address in my paper. That brings it more specific, and what you want to know. You have an idea of what it is that you want your paper to kind of what direction it wants to go in. Maybe you just need a little help figuring out some of those more minor details. A student has said, I use ChatGPT like I use a study group. I come with my own ideas first, then ask it to challenge my thinking and suggest areas I haven't considered. The final work is always mine. For this student, they made sure to say that because there's some pride in that, right? Like, oh, no, I used it a little bit, but the work is mine. If you don't feel that you can come to your professor with this, like, no, this is my work, then you might have used AI too much. This approach keeps you in the driver's seat. You're developing the ideas, making the decisions, and learning through the process. The AI enhances your work without actually replacing your intellectual contribution. Effective strategy number two, the refinement approach. So the first one is you want to create a draft, write your first draft version completely independently. Then the second thing is you want to request feedback. Use AI for constructive criticism on specific aspects. And then the third one is you want to revise thoughtfully. Evaluate suggestions and incorporate only what improves your work. Why this works. This method ensures that the core ideas and analysis are yours. AI acts as an editor rather than the author. You might ask, does my thesis statement clearly preview my argument, or are there logical gaps in my reasoning? The AI provides perspective, but you make all the final decisions about content and direction. This mirrors real-world professional writing, where drafts receive feedback from colleges and editors. You're developing critical revision skills while using technology responsibly. Alrighty, And then strategy 3, the skill building method. Use AI strategically to accelerate your learning curve. When facing a challenge, new concept, ask AI to explain it in different ways until you truly understand. Request practice problems with step-by-step solutions, then work through similar problems independently. Ask AI to identify knowledge gaps in your understanding. So how this process would look is the first thing you'll do is learn. Use AI to understand new concepts through the explanation and examples. I cannot tell you how many times I have been like, I don't actually know what this means. I have zero clue what they're trying to ask me. Sometimes if you ever been, especially when I went to my master's program, I did not understand what some of the questions were actually trying to ask, especially in the beginning, right? Like as I went through, I started to understand, but in the very beginning, I was like, oh, I'm not really sure what they're asking me. And so I would put it in there and be like, hey, what is it that you are saying? What is it that you want, right? Or what is it that the instructor wants? And then it spits out like, okay, this is what it's asking. Then practice. Get AI generated practice problems with solutions to study. Similar to what I said earlier, you create study guides. I created interview questions. You can create test questions for yourself. Anything that helps you understand the material better. Then you apply. Independently complete actual assignments using your new skills. So once you've practiced it with using AI, then you can go back to your assignments and try it yourself. And then 4, verify your understanding, assess, verify your understanding without AI assistance. If you cannot explain what you did, if you cannot explain a concept or the idea, then even after doing all these things, maybe you relied on AI a little bit too much. Maybe you need to kind of go back to the initial step of like, okay, well, what exactly is it asking? But through this process, it breaks it down enough to where by the time you get to assess, you should be able to answer any questions fully. Okay, so some real life scenarios. The late night panic. Ashley waited until midnight to start her history essay. Panicking, she asked ChatGPT to write it entirely. She submitted it with minor edits, got caught by AI detection software, and received a 0. She had to retake the test. She had to retake the course. I'm sure this one probably relates to a lot more people, especially students, right? Like, so you forgot, you completely bogged down your schedule with more student activities and academic activities, so it happens. But the lesson here is poor time management does not justify academic dishonesty. AI can't save you from procrastination. It can only compound the problem. So again, most instructors would rather you reach out to them and ask for an extension with substantial points gone than for you to use AI, they catch you, and not only could you potentially be out of that grade, but they could, fail you for the class. So you have to kind of think, is it worth it, right? So the SMART approach. Elena used AI to brainstorm thesis statements, then wrote her entire paper independently. She ran her draft through Grammarly for editing suggestions and included a note. I used ChatGPT to initially brainstorm and Grammarly for grammar checking. She earned an A and learned valuable research skills. So the lesson for this one is she was transparent. She wrote it down at the bottom of her paper that she used it, and this is the way that she used it. And she maintained ownership of her work, which leads to both good grades and genuine learning. Right? So that's something that I want all of you guys to leave here today knowing, is that there is a SMART approach to AI, and you can use it. You can't, for most of your classes, you can use it. Just always check your syllabus. I can't stress that enough. But you can use it, and you can use it smartly. It's just that don't use it and allow it to be your only form of information. Don't use it as a crutch. Okay? All right. So creating your own personal AI ethics policy. Always ask yourself questions. What are my learning goals for this course? Go through your course learning objectives at the top of your syllabus. It should all be there. Some classes might also have it in Blackboard, but it'll tell you what the learning goals are. right? Like, so know what those learning goals are, because that is what they're trying to get you to achieve at the end of the course. How will using AI in this way help or hinder achieving those goals? So if you know that one of the learning goals is to be able to evaluate two main concepts, and you have a paper evaluating at the end these two main concepts, and you used AI to write it, you haven't learned what you were supposed to, right? Am I using AI to avoid difficult thinking or to think more deeply, right? Like, so are you just using it just to be like, okay, I don't feel like learning today, let's keep going? Or are you actually using it to deepen your own understanding? So those are things that you need to think about. Would I be comfortable explaining my AI use to my professor? If you can go up to your professor and say, without a hesitation of thought, this is what I use AI for, and you are okay with that, then you know that you use it ethically. But if you kind of, as you're talking, you're like, I used it a lot, so that's going to be your own way of gauging how much did you use AI within an assignment. Will I actually understand and be able to defend this work? If your instructor feels as if you used AI and you plagiarized your paper and they bring you into their office, are you going to be able to defend your paper? If there's any concept, if they were to bring, or even just an assignment, if they were to bring different things to the forefront for you, would you be able to say, oh, I understand that concept, this is what it means? Or will you have more of a, I don't know, but you wrote 10 pages on it. You know what I mean? So there's a difference, because I don't know about you guys, but if I spent my long hours writing a 10-page paper, you can guarantee I know at least what most of it is in there. You know what I mean? I might not be able to recall it verbatim, and a good example of that is when I was in school, I remember working so hard on my paper, and then the night before, it was due at 11:59, and I think at around like 9 p.m., my paper disappeared. I was working on campus on one of the computers. My entire paper disappeared. I was like frantic. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I emailed my professor what happened, but then I started writing my paper again. Because I wrote my paper, it looked a little like, weird, but I wrote my entire paper within like those last couple hours. I was able to submit something because I knew what was in it. Now it wasn't it wasn't articulated in the way that I had worked so hard on, but I knew exactly what I said because I wrote it, right? No one else had to tell me, so I wasn't panicking because of the fact that my paper was gone. Like, yes, I did panic, but because I knew what I wrote and what I put in that paper, I was able to rewrite it. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I was able to submit something. And when I emailed my professor, like, hey, my computer crashed, I don't know what happened, my paper was gone, I rewrote it, here it is, it's not as good, but if you can just give me a couple more, if you can give me one more day, I can go ahead and edit it and make it a little bit better. My professor did let me do that, but but he was proud of me that I even submitted something, right? And does the use of AI violate any policies or expectations? So we've already talked about that. Write down your personal guidelines and revisit them throughout the semester, right? Like, so this is just kind of like something to do for yourself. You don't have to give it to anyone. You don't have to share it with anyone. It's just for yourself. And be honest with yourself about when you're using AI as a tool versus a crutch. If you don't feel comfortable disclosing your AI use, that's the red flag. And you may be crossing some ethical boundaries. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid AI entirely. You can use it in ways that make you a better learner and prepare you for professional success. So looking ahead, AI as your career asset. The AI skills you develop now will serve you throughout your career. Employers increasingly expect graduates to use AI tools effectively and ethically. I cannot tell you how much, just as an instructional designer for the university, how many times people are looking just in general at universities, really jobs all over. AI, there's constant conferences on the use of AI. There are so many different organizations and just community groups just surrounding AI and the AI use. So it's incredibly important for you to be able to use it, right? Like, you need to be able to use AI, but you don't want to use it to the point where it's a crutch for you. Learning to prompt AI effectively, evaluate its outputs critically, and integrate its suggestions thoughtfully are valuable professional competencies. Your instructors want to know that not your instructors, your employers, your future employers want to know that you can use AI. They want to make sure that you can, because that's where the world is going. But if what you're giving them is just AI generated, then they don't need you at all, right? Like they could just use AI. They didn't have to have you. But if what you can do is you can go into that job, you can use it, but you don't need it to succeed, you know what I mean? So that puts you in a better position job-wise. So professional advantage. Knowing how to use AI responsibly makes you more competitive in the job market and more productive in your future career. Ethical leadership. Your commitment to ethical AI use in school builds habits that will make you a trustworthy professional and a leader, right? And you want to make sure that those are the type of characteristics that you're exhibiting. And then critical thinking. Learning to evaluate AI outputs critically sharpens your judgment and analytical skills for complex decision making. Those are all very important. Like whenever you're looking at jobs, they want to know that you are a decision maker. They want to understand, they want to know that you're trustworthy and that you're a leader. And they want to know that you can do the job and perform it well. So by mastering ethical AI use now, you're not just succeeding academically, you're preparing for a future where the tools are ubiquitous and the ability to use them wisely is essential. So some key takeaways that I want all of you guys to remember. AI is a tool, not a replacement. Bring yourself into every one of your assignments. The instructor wants to know what you have to say. If they wanted to know what Google had to say, they would have searched it themselves. Transparency builds trust. Your instructors will respect you more if you tell them exactly what you used AI for, so that whenever they're going back and grading your papers, if they see a part in your assignment or whatever, that is like, oh, that doesn't sound like the student, but you've already said in like the feedback or at the bottom of the paper, this is what I used AI for. They're like, I appreciate that student telling me the truth. I won't knock them for this, you know. Ethics guide technology use. Let your values and learning goals determine how you use AI, and not convenience or shortcuts. And then skills matter most. Focus on developing genuine understanding and capabilities that will serve you long term. So your next steps that I want you all to do is review your course syllabus for AI policies. Every last instructor has it in their syllabus now because, of course, AI is a huge thing. Create your own personal ethics guidelines and commit to using AI in ways that make you a better learner. When in doubt, ask your instructor for guidance. They will tell you exactly what they expect for AI in their class. If they didn't think about it before, they will after you ask them. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And it also helps the instructor too. If you don't understand the concepts, if you don't understand the concepts, and maybe the way that the instructor wrote the prompt was a little bit more challenging than any of the students for any of the students to understand, it might encourage the instructor to be like, oh, I never thought about that. Let me go in there and try to change it a little, or let me add additional information to kind of help clarify it. And focus on developing a genuine understanding. Oh, I already read that, sorry. Commit to using AI in ways that make you a better learner. And when in doubt, ask your instructors for guidance. Your academic integrity is worth protecting. Alrighty, that is it for the day. I hope you all enjoyed the presentation, and if any of you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to our office, Online Learning and Support. We always want to help you guys to be successful. If you have a class that does not have an academic integrity policy, ask your instructor what are their standards and what is it that they want for the use of AI in their class. So you're all going to be incredibly successful. Don't worry, don't stress, and you're all going to be PACER ready in no time. So have a wonderful day. Bye.